Like so. Yo, I pitch wisdom for the kidsdom. Solid as a prism, keeps a funky rhythm. If I want it, I go and get it. My blood thicker than water, we up like a zipper. My jeans seams got ashes from the plane. I'm elevating and crashing in the bed, but instead I hit my rooftop and watch the world go, penning this shit inside my journal. Look up at the stars as I burn slow. Head to the Ville over by Strauss. We in the house with the herbo. As I throw on my starter, once my ignition start up, it's go time. And we ain't even hit our prime in no time. In the city living, spending past our limits, put my all up in it, only play to win it. What's the status quo, what's the scenario? Kicking mad flavor as for hoes, we don't save a dough. Put them to the side like a page of dough. Cut them off clean like a tape of dough. Really think you dream until you wake up though. Everything is
is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. I guess that is the truth. It does not matter who the host is. Today is Tuesday, December the 21st of 2021, day 355 of the year, and only, you ready? 10 days left. Yeah, 10 days left before the whole thing hits the wall and we get into the twos, the 2022. So there you go. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. So don't worry about that. So let's start moving and grooving and talking about what we are doing, because as you are aware, besides that we're hanging out here, we're hanging out over there.
Radio.
So we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at RadioBig.fm, so don't worry about that. We'll talk about what's going on inside of that world a little bit later, where you can catch on, hang on, and do some other things with us if you so desire to do so. So let's start talking, let's start moving, let's start grooving right away about what was trending in the overnight. So we'll start talking about that. We'll start talking about those things because, you know, the hashtags, I always make a scenario real quick. So, hashtag anti-mask versus mask was trending on Monday as tweets were mixed of people for and against masking with their own version of science backing their stance. Hashtag Monday Thoughts was trending yesterday. Tweets included there is always a reason to smile. You must have to find it. Nothing is impossible, and make it a great day, everyone, and believe in yourself and be kind always. So that was go ahead and hitting around there. Christmas is in 5 landed and on Twitter's top 10 trends on Monday as social media users shared their shock and anxiety over the fact that the holiday was just 5 days away. Also, hashtag RHONJ was trending yesterday as the trailer for season 12 of Bravo's reality show dropped. Based on the clip, the woman in the Garden State are once again ready to bring drama. So there you go. And then also hashtag earthquake was trending after a quake that struck off the coast of California on Monday. So there you go. So just some interesting things right away going off on the top right off the bat there. Also, what else do we have going on? So of course we talk about the charts on Tuesdays about what's going on Spotify and iTunes, so let's get into that right away. The number 5 song, according to iTunes, was Elton John and Dua Lipa with Cold Heart at number 5. At number 4, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Is that the Dua Lipa Elton John thing? I don't know. At number 3 was Adele with Easy on Me. At number 2, Gail with ABCDEFU. And then, let's see. The number 1 spot was Little Dirk with Broadway Girls featuring Morgan Wallen. So there you go. What else do we have going on? According to Spotify, the number 5 song was Glass Animals by Heat Waves. At number 4 was Adele with Easy on Me. At number 3, Ed Sheeran with Shivers. And then at number 2, Gail with ABCDEFU. And then at the number 1 spot, according to Spotify, was The Kid featuring Justin Bieber with Stay. So there you go. That was what was going on. So that's the thing. Anyways, if you're kind of new to the show, let me kind of give you the layout of the land. It kind of goes something along these lines. We talk about what's going on inside of the world of the news and the world of the news and the news of the world. So we'll talk about those things. And then we'll bring in some professional broadcasters that will talk to you and give you some information that you might find valuable, or you might find it where it's just a total waste of time. So I don't know. You can take a look at it however you want and kind of go from that particular angle from there. Anyway, so let's bring in our friends from Feature Story News, get them moving and grooving, and we'll get that rolling for you right now on the Rated R Safety Show.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Chris Jones. The Omicron COVID-19 variant is continuing to wreak havoc across the world. The US government says the strain is now its most dominant, accounting for nearly 3/4 of all cases. And now senior politicians in Germany are meeting to discuss whether further measures are needed in response to the rise in Omicron cases. From Berlin, Trent Murray reports.
Chancellor Scholz and the country's 16 state premiers will gather Tuesday for an emergency COVID-19 meeting. The high-stakes summit comes as the health minister warns that a massive 5th wave of Omicron cases is on its way. While the priority remains accelerating the booster campaign, leaked plans suggest that Chancellor Scholz is pushing regional leaders to agree to some form of new lockdown measures for after Christmas, including limiting the number of people that can meet together indoors.
It's a similar story across the rest of mainland Europe, with countries searching for answers to slow the spread of the virus as much as possible. Benji Haya reports from Brussels.
Restrictions are already in place in several states, many remaining. Christmas and New Year's Eve plans are being scrapped amid World Health Organization warnings that an event cancelled is better than a life cancelled. The Belgian government considers its position on Wednesday, as testing shows that Omicron accounts for a 5th of all Belgian cases. Asked about the possibility of lockdown rules like those seen in the Netherlands, Health Minister Frank van den Broek says he's thinking very hard about it and that he's considering all possibilities. Italy and Spain are also weighing up potential measures.
The UK government says it's looking at the latest data before deciding whether stricter measures are needed to slow the spread of the Omicron COVID variant. On Monday, Prime Minister Boris Johnson's cabinet resisted calls from scientists to toughen restrictions before Christmas, but a so-called circuit breaker lockdown is being considered for the post-Christmas period, and Nigeria is currently experiencing a 4th wave of the coronavirus pandemic. Correspondent Tessa Makende reports from Jos.
Director General of Nigeria's Center for Disease Control, Ifedayo Adetifa, announced the development in a statement on Monday. He says there's been a 500% increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in the country in the past 2 weeks, caused by the Delta and Omicron variants of the disease. 223,887 cases and 2,985 deaths have been recorded since the outbreak of COVID-19 in the country in March 2020. Just about 3% of the citizens have been fully vaccinated against the disease. Authorities in the country have launched campaigns aimed at prompting citizens to get vaccinated and improve adherence to safety measures against COVID-19. Tassim Akendi, Jos.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at proposals in Iran to ban pets. It sparked outrage among animal lovers inside the country and beyond its borders. Under the proposed law, Iranians would be banned from owning, breeding or transporting dogs, cats and other pets, and if they break the regulations, they could face substantial fines. The bill is backed by hardline Islamists in the country's parliament who believe that domestic animals are unclean and and are negatively impacting the Islamic way of life. Elisa Allen is the UK Director of People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, one of many international groups expressing opposition to the Iranian proposal.
There are some aspects of the proposal which would be welcome. For example, the law would make it illegal for wild animals to be kept as pets. But the problem is that the law lumps all animals, wild animals and domesticated animals together, and that creates an issue. I think many people listening will have dogs and cats in their homes, and we know that these animals are part of the family. I mean, humans have domesticated them, and we therefore have a responsibility towards them.
The legislation is simply a proposal at this stage, and it sparked such negative reaction in Iran that the head of the country's Judicial Commission has already said he disagrees with at least parts of it. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap our top stories, the US government says the Omicron variant is now the country's dominant strain. Senior politicians in Germany are meeting to discuss whether further measures are needed in response to the rise in Omicron cases. The UK government says it's looking at the latest data before deciding whether stricter measures are needed, and Nigeria has now entered its fourth wave of the coronavirus pandemic. That is the latest feature story news. Chris Jones reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
You know how sometimes in life you have those moments of shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time to people. So let's talk about that very sensitive subject of male pattern baldness. Don't go through that moment where you're going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35. With more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. You don't have to be one of them. Think about this. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and my friends at Keeps offer both. Keeps offers simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor's consultations and medication delivered straight to your door. I mean, I have to tell you, just for the whole sake of not having to leave your house to have the consultation, that should sell itself. But the low-cost treatments start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. Discreet packaging and proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. I want you to think about that. People love the product. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast. All you have to do to take action to prevent hair loss is to go to keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/safety. to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month free. That's KEEPS.com/safety. Remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head as mine. So don't be saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Act on Keeps right now.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday that I wanted to call a Monday because I just wanted to relive yesterday all over again. Anyways, as you are aware, we are coming to you live from Orlando. Yes, Orlando, Florida. So let's start talking about what is going on inside of the world. Thanks for hanging out with us on this lovely Tuesday as we start moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's go into the beginning of the hit list so we can start talking about the world and what is exactly going on today. Moderna says its new trials of its booster has been effective against the Omicron variant of COVID, and that even more of its juice is even more effective against Omicron. More of its juice, and that is going to work on developing a whole new Omicron-specific drug too, as well. So hold on, are we going to start getting booster-specific variant drugs? I mean, I'm just wondering how that's going to work. Because think about it real quick. It'll be interesting to see. So let's say, for instance, hypothetically, you are vaccinated. If you are, did you go with which flavor did you go with? Did you go with Johnson & Johnson? Did you go with the Pfizer one? Did you go with Moderna? I mean, I just wonder. I just wonder on how some of those things worked out for you if you decided to go down that path. It'll definitely be an interesting conversation as we do move forward, so don't have any doubts about that. Anyways, let's continue talking. A magnitude 6.2 earthquake hit about 25 miles off the coast of California on Monday afternoon, but no immediate reports of injuries or damages. The U.S. Geological Survey showed that the tremors as far south as San Francisco, nearly 250 miles away. No tsunami threat was issued, so there you go. Just some interesting things, of course, as we always talk about it. When you start talking about earthquakes and all that other kind of interesting stuff that goes on inside of the world here. And you can never be prepared for those things. That's the interesting part. You can never be prepared for an earthquake. It's not like you get an earthquake warning before anything occurs. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. I always have that question about people that live out there towards California, especially the people that hang out and do the stuff that they do in our field. How do the safety professionals get ready for that? How do the safety professionals, do the thing that they need to do when it comes to being ready for an earthquake? Like, how prepared are you? How prepared is your facility and all that other kind of stuff? I mean, I never know. I'm always curious on how you do it. I mean, at least here where I'm located, if there's a hurricane coming, you kind of know ahead of time that that's going to be the gig. You have some warning days ahead of time is normally how it works. Sometimes if you're lucky enough, it might even be a week. Anyways, let's continue talking. A new Associated Press poll shows that 40% of Americans say that they're feeling the squeeze of inflation. When broken down by income, half of those earning less than $50,000 a year say that inflation is impacting their finances. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. I take a look at it and I go, I think that regardless of making $50,000 or more, I still think that you're feeling the inflation cost. I mean, I was taking a look around since I've been back from my hiatus and going, wow, I am amazed on the cost of product and services here. And don't get me wrong, I get it. But man, how our price is kind of out of control as of late. I mean, I think I'm stating the obvious as we are talking about it. But wow, I mean, it's just amazing to me on how the prices have changed so dramatically. I will tell you, I was looking at a piece of equipment for a friend of mine, and it was interesting to me that this was electric equipment, blah, blah, blah. It was almost a 33% increase on the price. And it's not like the demand was high on the product. It's just the pricing on how things have changed so dramatically over the last little bit. And I mean, where I see a lot of it, of course, is food. You know what it is to go to a sandwich shop? I went to a sandwich shop a few days ago, had a regular size sandwich, and bought a child sandwich. It was over $20. Over $20. And I was like, it wasn't like it had some high-end stuff inside of it. It's just amazing on how some of those things have occurred. Anyways, let's continue talking. A death toll in the Philippines now exceeds over 375 in the aftermath of the typhoon Rai. At least 50 people remain missing and another 500 are injured. The storm hit on Friday evening with winds exceeding 168 miles per hour at some point. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world when it comes to the natural disasters. Just one of those areas that you start taking a look at and go, how is all this happening during this time frame? It's mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling on how this all occurs.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, let's continue talking. Intelligence officials tell the Daily Star Russia that it could be planning for a Christmas Eve invasion of the Ukraine. There are already an estimated 100,000 troops and tanks amazed at the Ukrainian border. The date would be also the anniversary of Russia's attempt of invading Afghanistan. So there you go. That's interesting. You decide to wait till Christmas Eve to do it, if that's really what's going to end up taking place. I mean, I guess we have 3 days to find out if that's really going to be it. Not that I'm trying to, excite people about it, but it's just something to think about because you know that these are going to be some news stories that are going to be in the reflection that will occur as we do move forward and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, an arrest has been made in a 43-year-old cold case involving a murder of a teenage girl back in 1978. Mark Stanley Personet was arrested in Denver. Officials say that they reopened the case back in October of 2020 when new technology brought new evidence to light, but were mum on specifics. They also said that Mark is a person of interest in other unsolved murders. Unsolved murders, which has a plural and an S at the very end of it. So it's interesting on how that actually occurs. It's interesting to me on technology, on how things are able to change and advance. I mean, take a look at it. Take a look in particular when it comes to doping and drug testing. We can use sports if you want to, on how they're able to take a look at old samples and be able to figure out if somebody was actually taking some kind of illegal substance from the time, depending on what sample size they actually have. Now, it's interesting to me as well as we start talking about how they're able to do this when it comes to cases of things that are going on. Now, I want you to take a look at this as well. As technology continues to advance, this is just talking about what we're able to do when it comes to DNA and things along those lines. Imagine the things that they'll be able to track that are done on computers in the future. And I would imagine that it wouldn't take much to figure out stuff that were done in olden times based on newer tech. I mean, think about it for a moment. It's just quite crazy when you start thinking about that whole aspect of it.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, let's continue talking real quick on some other things. A man attempting to commit an unidentified scrupulous act inside of the Sixth Temple in India was killed while onlookers tried to stop him. The incident occurred on Saturday evening. The deceased has been described as a 20 to 25-year-old wearing a yellow cloth on his head. Investigators say that they are reviewing the security footage to try to figure out what exactly happened. Now, it's interesting as we start talking and moving and grooving and all that other fun stuff that we could actually tie some words into on what exactly occurs from time to time. It's amazing to me to take a look at this and go, okay, we have this information that's going on. We have video surveillance. Now, as you know, video surveillance tells you stuff for after the fact. It's not a preventive measure. You can only do post. You can't do pre. It's very rare when you can do pre when it comes to video. You know that. I know that. But it's amazing to me as we start talking about this. It's amazing to me as we start moving and grooving and all that other kind of fun stuff on what exactly does occur when it's all said and done. I don't know what to tell you. It's one of those things that you have to take a look at it and go, do you find value in surveillance cameras? Do you find value in these things? I mean, I guess if you have somebody who's manning the cameras, yes, it makes sense. But for something for post matters, what exactly is it really going to be able to do to you or do for you? That's just something to think about. Anyways, after a Twitter dubstep with Senator Elizabeth Warren last week, Elon Musk says that he'll pay more than $11 billion in taxes this year. While that's a lot of money, it would serve as 0.03 of the nation's national debt. 0.03. So there you go, just for information purposes for you to actually have that info. Anyway, CNET reports that the rumors are swirling that Apple will launch tech glasses next year and that it will have both augmented reality and virtual reality capabilities. AR puts digital created imagery onto what you are seeing in the real world. VR is fully encompassing of the virtual world. Apple is likely looking to compete with Meta Quest goggles which are a couple of $100s. So there you go. So what does that mean? What does that mean right away? So of course, these rumor of the Apple glasses have been going on for quite some time. There were some scenarios that were saying that the glasses would have the capability that if you do have an issue with your sight, that it could correct it as you are able to look at them. You wouldn't have to put any kind of prescription lenses on it. But think about it as well as augmented reality as you're able to go around. I'm sure you've seen it, the augmented reality stuff that you can do with your phone. Using a perfect example would be like if you have the IKEA app, you can actually sit inside of a room. And let's say, for instance, there's a piece of furniture that you're looking at and you were trying to deem what it would look like inside of that room that you're in. You can open the IKEA app and actually put that piece of furniture in the room, looking at it from a digital aspect through your phone. So now this would be something similar that you would be able to do using your glasses. Now that would change a lot of things for you. Now think about the availability and the things that you would be able to do from the tech side if you're inside of a work environment, of listing potential dangers and potential hazards inside of the workplace. I mean, think about it. It's going to be a game changer when it's all said and done. You're almost starting to look at how life would be in Ready Player One when you probably start getting into the VR aspect of it. Now, let's just be realistic. If Meta Quest goggles are going roughly for about $200, what do you think the pricing will be for the ones listed by Apple? Because that will be a very interesting thing to take a look at, just as we are talking about it right now.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, I know we haven't spoken a lot about Florida as of late, so let's talk about it now. A 34-year-old Florida man, Patrick Florence, was stopped early Saturday morning for driving without headlights or taillights. During the stop, officers found that Florence was in possession of a handgun, which is illegal, and given his felony status, this led to a body search which revealed baggies of cocaine, meth, in plastic bags wrapped around his penis, which Florence says were not his. Police reports indicate that Florence did not say who the baggies did belong to. He is now facing 4 felony charges. I mean, that's kind of a hard sell there. I mean, let's just think about this for a moment. The guy is found with baggies of cocaine and meth in a plastic bag wrapped around his penis, and he turns around and he says that it's not his. Now, keep in mind that we are talking about I'm assuming we're talking about the plastic bags and that the drugs weren't his. I mean, I'm not sure that he was talking about the penis portion. But is this something to take a look at? I mean, not really take a look at, but think about it for a moment. How the hell do you get something wrapped around your penis and all of a sudden you claim that it's not yours? Very interesting subject matter. I guess that's one way to think about it if you had to put it in any kind of aspect.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so I think it's close enough to that time that we do that thing that we do, as we call it, the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so here you go. 29 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. So let's start talking about it. As you are aware and you already know, and we have moved and grooved and spoke about it briefly yesterday. So maybe it's a conversation that we roughly have again today, just for the sake of doing so, to make sure that everybody's caught up on the same angle here and everybody's caught up knowing what we're talking about, opposed to it kind of being one of those things that you're kind of left in the dark about. But maybe it's time for us to have this discussion. Yesterday, we spoke very briefly about some of the changes that are going around and going about right now, where there will be a change to Biden's vaccine test and rule of the 84 that will affect the 84 million workers. I mean, we did speak about this briefly yesterday. So I think it's going to be something that we need to discuss. So just in case you're not familiar with it, a Biden's administration rule that requires workers at companies with 100 or more employees to be vaccinated against COVID or undergo weekly testing is back on. The Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals lifted the stay on the rule on Friday evening. The rule was blocked on November the 6th, just one day after the formally issued by the Federal Occupational Safety and Health Administration. So there you go. So just in case if you were not aware of it, so it was gone, now it's back on, and now we need to start having the conversation here on what is this going to look like? What is this going to sound like? How is this going to feel, touch, taste, whatever, all that kind of fun stuff. So now think about this real quick. If you are in a work environment that you have 100 employees or more, they have to be actually vaccinated against COVID, or they have to submit themselves to a weekly COVID test. Yes, weekly COVID test. So what we need to start talking about is how this is going to work. How is this going to be enforced? How is this going to be looked at going forward? So let's talk about this real quick. In a statement, the White House pointed out that the highly transmissible Omicron variant makes it critical that we move forward with the vaccination requirements and protection for workers with the urgency needed at the moment. Just before midnight, the Labor Department announced that OSHA would not issue citations for noncompliance with testing requirements before February the 9th. So as long as an employer is exercising reasonable good faith efforts to come into the compliance with the rule. So think about this real quick. So technically, they're not going to issue any citations until February the 9th. So that's one thing. But how is this going to look? How is this going to be enforced? How is this going to be evolving going forward? Now, keep in mind, I want you to think about this. So, using the example of the state that I'm in, which is Florida, we've been told that the government here, the state government, will actually penalize companies that would use any of this. And this was before, this got, not redrafted, but lifted. So it's going to be an interesting swing of things. Federal government versus state government on how those things are going to work. So how is this going to be enforced inside of your organization? How are you going to take a look at this? What is the testing going to look like? How is that going to all do the swing of things and move forward? Those are the questions that we're going to have to start asking if you're not already asking them. Because keep in mind that, okay, yes, I am assuming, and this is a huge assumption here, that there is going to be a heavy responsibility inside of the human resource department for this. But I have that funny feeling that does occur from time to time, that you will be tied into this. If you are a safety professional out there talking about this, if you are a safety professional, they will look towards you on how to help enforce this. So what's the plan? What's the game plan? What are you thinking about doing? How would you enforce this if you are in an organization that has 100 or more employees? Because that's going to be a huge portion going forward. That's going to be a ginormous step on how this is going to look, and then all of a sudden the other side too. I want you to think about this because this is something that did occur a little while ago. If you think about it, a few months ago, there was a shortage. There was a shortage of healthcare workers because they were being required to have a vaccine. And some of them agreed and some of them did not agree. And think about it, there was a shortage of medical workers in certain states. So the question becomes now, because there has been such a hard stand on this, and this is my question to you, this is not leaning one way or the other, how do you think this is going to look forward in the future? Because people that are strongly against getting vaccinated are probably going to say, I am not willing to do this or commit to a weekly test. So unfortunately, you know how that's going to look. Or I'm not going to actually go out there and get the vaccine. So it's going to be a number of questions to come about. The other portion is, how are these tests going to be mandated? I mean, like, what kind of test do you have to take? Who's going to pay for the test? I mean, because all of a sudden now you're going to take this information, and let's say, for instance, that your healthcare provider is still paying for it. Let's just use that as an example. What kind of an expense is this going to be long-term for healthcare? And then what kind of impact, is this going to have cost to your benefits in the long run? I mean, there's numbers of things that are going on. And now keep in mind, I know that this is kind of a light week. Next week's a light week. But these are questions that we're going to have to ask immediately. If you can't ask them now, at the beginning of the year. It's something that we're going to have to give a lot of consideration to on how this is going to look. Conversations need to be had in regards on how we're going to be able to move forward with this. A lot of things to think about. And I know it's kind of that weird time of the year where it's like, I don't have time. Well, we're going to have to make some time to really have this conversation. Now, I would normally sit here and go, but what the hell do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone. But no, this is a serious conversation and not my sarcastic mode as normal. But it's something that we need to talk about right away and how it's going to impact your organization if you have 100 or more employees. Think about that real quick. Give it some thought during this long time frame. We'll be right back.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Want it, then fuck them. If they ain't part of the process, can't trust them. Double cup and sipping, bought a new roll, eating churros. Shorty ass fat like a sumo, and I'm high off the Chillin' with the crew, playing Uno. Niggas tryna front, but it's cool though. We on our way up, so it's kudos. Tryna get the moolah copper-tudo. I need a big crib with a blue nose. Step into my dreams like it's Euro. Playing pool with the cool vibe.
Okay, there you go. Let's take a look. 42 minutes past the top of the hour. And let's see. This is Mic Check by ISO Indies. Okay, so thank you to ISO Indies for allowing us to play this on the Rated R Safety Show. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes.
We got it on deck. Checks on check. On to the next. Mental health check. Wallet on me check. Another day check.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Laid back and smooth. That's the way that it is. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue moving forward and talking about all kinds of fun stuff because, you know, that's what we're about around here and all that kind of fun things. Anyways, if you want to text us, send us a message and all that stuff, you can do that on the social media platforms. You're more than welcome on doing that. If not, here's what you can do. You can go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. It'll give you a couple different options here. You can send a text message, you can do a video message, or you can actually do a voice track if you want to, directly off your phone or any mobile device or any computer system if you want to do it in that particular fashion. That will get you into our little system here, and we'll be able to put you on the air if you so desire to do so. Anyway, so let's start talking about some other things going on inside of the world of the news, because that's always important as you and I are hanging out and doing the things that we get to do. Anyways, before I forget, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come out, hang out with us, and do all that kind of fun stuff. So that's some stuff we can do on that side. So let's talk about it, because this was big over the weekend, and we'll continue to talk about it because you'll probably see it here over the next little bit. Sure, Spider-Man is impressing everyone these days, not only with the box office number, but also with the incredible feat of athleticism and the battles begin multiple villains on the big screen, but that kind of toll on your body will have the exploits that Spidey and the superheroes' peers be dealing with over the golden years. A team of researchers at the Australia decided to find out. They looked into the behavioral factors of the 5 superheroes, Black Widow, Iron Man, Black Panther, Spider-Man, and the Hulk, and found that their lifestyles will likely lead them to chronic issues in old age. They found that the most powerful characters are more prone to dementia, life-changing physical injuries, and the disability because of their exposure to loud noises, air pollution, and head injuries. The good news is for Spider-Man is because he is strong, flexible, and agile, he is less likely to fall when he is old. But his nightly crime fight, how does this even become about a story? Fighting becomes unlikely as he's getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep, recommended for teenagers, making him more prone to mental health problems, obesity, and unintentional injuries. The good news is that superheroes get regular exercise, which is a good thing in the long term of health. They also have many social connections, which reduces their risk of dementia. The researchers say that their studies is just a bit of fun, but it also shows our health behaviors, how they impact us later in life. So I bet Spidey senses a tingling about that. So there you go. And so I'm sure that Tobey Maguire is dealing with some sort of those issues right now because, he's so old at this particular point. And this is why they keep getting younger and younger as Spider-Man. It all makes sense now.
Duh.
So anyways, there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. Before I forget, let me tell you about the most important thing that I'll tell you during the whole show. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or you have lost a loved one, know that you are not alone. Hear about personal experience from people in your local communities whose life have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. That's the word TALK to 741-741. Keep in mind that this is the time of the year where things get difficult for some in regards of actually dealing with depression. So just keep that in mind. It might not be information that you might need for yourself, but it might be information that you can help with others. To find out more, like I said, all you have to do is go to afsp.org or call 1-800-273-8255 or text the word TALK to 741-741. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. A host of jobs to do, just in case if you're looking. A study says that the average adult will spend 43 minutes per day preparing for guests and cleaning up after them during the holiday period. In fact, 3 in 10 say that they will spend more time cleaning at Christmas than the actual enjoying the celebration. Why? Well, of course, if they feel the pressure of the spotless home. If we're hosting for the holidays, 72% agree. In a poll of 2,000 Brits, here are the messy spots. People said that the most likely to be judged for not cleaning. At number 10, pet smells. At number 9, dirty dishes. At number 8, other surfaces that are messy or dirty, like tables and countertops. At number 7, sticky floors. At number 6, general clutter. Does no one else have kids? I mean, that's something to think about. Messy bathrooms at number 4. Imagine having a sparkling bathroom with disgusting toilets. 3, overflowing garbage. Number 2, messy or dirty kitchen. And at the number 1 spot, well, I think I already let the cat out of the bag. Well, of course, it's a dirty toilet. Those are the people that would be like, what the hell's going on inside of your bathroom? I don't get it, but I mean, I get it, but I don't get it, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, let's bring in Johnny Smalls real quick because I forgot to do that. So we're going to unload everything because I did not give you what was going on inside of the market, and I know that those things are important. So let's do some back-to-back Johnny Smalls right now.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. The market sell-off gained momentum Monday, with the S&P 500 falling below the 30-day EMA and approaching the lowest levels in over 2 weeks. If the index continues to fall and break below the 4,500 level, a move down to 4,300 is the most likely scenario. The selling is due to the combined impacts of COVID-19 and the president's agenda falling apart. On the one hand, the new variant threatens to bring the global supply chain to a standstill, while on the other hand, the president's failure in getting his agenda through Congress is weighing on the GDP outlook. In both cases, the growth of the S&P 500 earnings is in question, and that is never a good thing for the stock market. If the market is forced to reevaluate the outlook for the S&P 500 earnings growth and lower the estimates, the index could fall well below the 4,300 level as well. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com. The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. All of this week's quotes have been submitted by Matt. They're also all anonymous quotes as well. There's an anonymous quote that says, "The happiest people don't have the best of everything. They make the best of everything." I absolutely agree with this one. My wife and I have never been wealthy. We don't have the best of everything, but we do make the best of everything we have. We're also very thankful for all of the things we've been blessed with. I had a friend on social media who complained about something every single week. She was never happy with all of the major blessings in her life. I'm using past tense here, but I'm sure she's still doing this. She just unfriended me on social media for being too happy. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alassamorgan.com. As we are reaching the end of the year, many of us are thinking back on things we have been able to accomplish and planning what we're looking to achieve next year. As you look back on the year 2021, here is a list of questions I invite you to reflect on. How have you been feeling in general? Happy, thriving, or overwhelmed? How was your work-life balance? Are you making enough time for fun and relaxation? How has your self-talk been like for the most part? Encouraging, kind, or self-critical? Have you been investing into relationships in your life that matter most to you? Have you been prioritizing things in your life that really matter? What would you like to do less of in your life? What would you like to do more of? What is one habit or pattern that's not serving you and you would like to bring awareness to and change? What is one thing you can change to make your life less chaotic? For more information and a discount of wellness services, please visit alassamorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Back to back, everything. Because, you know, that's what happens. Sometimes you just have to unload everything that's inside of the machine, because that's what happens. So anyway, sorry about that. 51 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's start going into some more información right away. Did you know walking daily reduces the chances of suffering from depression, stress, and anxiety? That's probably not a surprise to you, but according to scientists at the University of Animal Health and Technology in Tokyo, sharing daily ramble with your dog provides even better benefits. They found that levels of stress hormones were much lower when owners took their dogs for a walk opposed to strolling alone. Meanwhile, levels of calming GABA chemical in dog walkers were found to be 40% higher, unless they forgot of, bringing a poop bag with them, because that would probably definitely be something that might be slightly important to do.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about some other things going on inside of the world real quick. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for a $171 million jackpot or a $124.6 million cash payout. If you're so inclined to playing the game, you got the right to do so. So there you go. What else do we got? What else do we got around here? Let's talk about something that happened back on this date. Let's see, what year do we want to go into? Let's do this one. Back in 1988, a Pan Am flight en route to New York from London explodes over Scotland. All 243 passengers, along with the 16 crew members, 11 on the ground, were killed from the wreckage. It was determined that the bomber was Abul Lazem Ali, who planted a bomb inside of the cassette recorder, which was stowed in the cargo of the plane. He was protected by the Libyan government until 1999, when the former dictator Mohammed Ghalid turned him in for soften the relation with the U.S. In 2003, Libya took responsibility for the attack. In 2009, he was released from prison and returned to Libya after doctors determined that he had terminal prostate cancer. He died back in May of 2012. So there you go. There's a lot of stuff inside of that one. Anyways, let's talk about some things going on inside of the world of birthdays today. So here you go, taking it from the top. Otis Dosick turns 30. Stephen Yang turns 38. Tom Paine, 39. Emmanuel Macron turns 44. Kiefer Sutherland turns 55 today. Ray Romano turns 64. Samuel L. Jackson, 73. And Jane Fonda turns 84. Those are some birthdays that are going on today if you're so inclined to finding that stuff out. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate, I think I have all kinds of them for you today, so here you go. Today's crossword puzzle day, Hamburg Day, National Main Day, Phyllis the Fog Win a Wager Day. Wow, what the hell is that? Winter Solstice Day, National Flashlight Day, National French Fried Shrimp Day, National Homeless Person Remembrance Day, Yule, Anne and Samantha Day, Look on the Bright Side Day. So there you go. All kinds of days that you can celebrate all in one giant slew. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know real quick. I think I already said that one, so let's not talk about Did You Know. Let's talk about something else because that's probably going to be a little bit more important to do so. Let's give you some whack facts real quick before we get you the hell out of here. The South Pole is colder than the North Pole. Tiny Tim is in Charles Dickens' classic story, A Christmas Carol, was almost named Little Fred. According to a study, men change their minds 2 to 3 times more often than women. Babies start dreaming even before they're born. Gymnastics is from Greek word meaning exercise naked. I didn't know that. That's something to know. Worldwide, about 20% of married couples are first cousins. What? I didn't know that. That's a little bit crazy.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's give you some scoops of BS before we get you out of here. A poll of 2,000 UK travelers found that 44% are traveling an average of 885 miles for a family Christmas gathering, and exactly 3 of those miles will be argument-free. The number of children being injured by toppling TV sets and dressers is on the rise. Even well-secured TVs can give kids brain damage, especially if they turned into The Masked Singer. You can definitely tell that it's the holiday season. Starbucks is now writing my name wrong on eggnog lattes. 70% of people that check their Twitter as soon as they wake up, which is a sign of an addiction, says a report. The other 30% didn't sleep because they were too busy watching cat videos on Facebook. Fact, Pineapple Express was the first marijuana-themed comedy film grossing over $100 million and was directly responsible for $1 billion in concession sales. Think about that for a moment.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so if you need a random joke for today, I got one for you. I wish Santa would publish the naughty list. What a great way to meet people. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. Here you go. Time for some positivity. What's the best thing that can happen to you in 2021? Think about that. What was the best thing that happened to you in 2021? Okay, that's a great phone starter. Try that one. Anyways, if you need a question for the water cooler today, try this real quick. If you gave this as a gift last Christmas, there is a 20% chance that it hasn't been used. What is it? A gift card. A gift card. There's a 20% chance. So 1 in 5 people have not used gift cards that they received last year. Wouldn't you think that you would just use the gift card towards something else to buy for someone else? I mean, I don't know, just saying that out loud. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and Safety FM. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. We can't do what we do without you, the most important part of our radio stations, and that's you, the listener. Think about it. I'd be hanging out by myself doing absolutely nothing if I wasn't hanging out with you. Think about it in that particular fashion. Anyways, I appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me this lovely morning. If you want to come out and hang out, listen to some music, and do some other stuff, I'll be hanging out over the next couple hours on RadioBig.fm. All you have to do is type into your browser, RadioBig.fm, and that will get you over to that general direction. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Never worry about the size of your Christmas tree. In the eyes of children, they're all 30 feet tall. Thank you for taking a listen. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.